Welcome to the high-tech production domain within Market 4.0, which we call the Smart Connected Supplier Network. High-tech production is about manufacturing, equipment and assemblies for high-tech OEMs, like in the semiconductor industry, healthcare and other industries. And the supply of these components is characterized by three words: high complexity, low volume and a high mix. Assemblies can be very complex, they are made to measure, and they are produced in a very high mix. For high-tech suppliers, which we are targeting in this domain, this creates a lot of challenges. So OEMs, they are outsourcing many activities to their suppliers, not only the manufacturing, but also the design and the maintenance of pieces of equipment. And increasingly, they are shifting this responsibility into the supply network. And this is creating a lot of data sharing challenges. Organizations need to manually copy information from one ERP system to a web portal or vice versa. It creates an administrative burden, it is error prone, and it results in a suboptimal chain as a whole. And it relates to all kinds of data, very basic data such as orders, but also design information, which is needed to analyze whether a simple assembly fits in a larger piece of equipment, or measurement data, or logistics information. And it all needs to be exchanged. Now, what we've done in the high-tech production domain is that we have created a setup whereby organizations can connect once to what we call a service provider, and through a service provider connect to the entire network. And this is called the Smart Connected Supplier Network. Service providers are interconnected through IDS, so data is secure and trusted and remains with the owner of the data. But they still have the advantage to connect once to the network and through the service provider connect to anybody else in the network, even if that company works with a different service provider. And this has created a lot of opportunities. So one of our partners, KMWE, is not only using this to push information into the supply network, but also to retrieve information from the supply network. They are receiving a lot of progress information of their suppliers in order to make a more resilient supply network and to investigate bottlenecks as they come along.
Good afternoon, Paul here, KMWE, with a short demo video on how we are using Market 4.0 milestones to enrich our ERP data. I'm going to run through a few steps. In short, how we create purchase orders, how XML formatted, SCSM formatted messages are used to populate the batch force progress app, how we retrieve these milestones, where we saw the milestones, and eventually how these lead towards a supply chain visibility dashboard. Quickly starting off with a purchase order. We have up top our purchase order number, the item being ordered, with obviously a description, ordered quantity, fictive price, and a fictive required date. To make our orders unique, we have a second level consisting of order lines, as you can see here, and a third level consisting of the deliveries. So the unique reference being purchase order number, purchase order line, purchase order delivery, required date, and required number of pieces per date. Saving and approving this order will result in an SCSM formatted XML message, which is eventually used to populate the batch force progress app. Quickly running through this XML message, we have our order number, the date it was created, which KMWE division ordered the parts, and from which supplier, a purchase order number, a purchase order line, again making the unique combination, the number of pieces being ordered, when these are required, with the item number and the description of the item. This information is passed over the IDS platform to the Batch Force Progress app. The Batch Force Progress app shoots back milestones to KMWE. We save these in 2 steps. First, we save the complete reaction as string text, so this eliminates the possibility of having translation errors during receipt, and it also acts as a backup table. From here, a stored procedure reads the complete received message as string text, extracts the information that is needed, and populates a second table. In this example, we have already imported the tables into Power BI to prove that we can actually receive messages and send messages to and from BatchForce. So up here we are seeing the ID of the message, a fictive order number, and line ID, a milestone, and some date information. Eventually, the delivery number will also have to be added to this information. This milestone information is then used to enrich our ERP data. We have also imported a view defined at Oracle database level, which is set up to show open purchase order information. So the first line we're seeing here is the example order that we just saw in our ERP system. Again, purchase order number, the line, the delivery number, number of pieces, when the items are requested, and from which supplier. Combining the milestone information with our open purchase order information when in enough numbers will eventually result in a supply chain visibility dashboard. Running through this dashboard with you, we have up top an overview of operational buys at KMWE, which allows us to monitor open purchase orders per operational buyer. We can select orders within a certain horizon that we eventually need within now and 3 weeks, or potentially only even later. We can look at orders per supplier, or even which we have open per customer. From here, we can also drill through to customer information using a so-called GTC code, meaning a group technology code, which is basically a batch of end products which the customer can order at KMWE, and what's something we call a hazard code at KMWE, which defines the type of end product that we have in our system for a specific customer. Further down, we have the possibility to select specific purchase order numbers. And we have the possibility to act on so-called MPS messages. I'm going to get to this a little bit later on. In the middle of the dashboard, you can see an overview of portal status information per year week. Again, fictive data to show you that with enough numbers, we can actually go into an information setting in Platts instead of only a data setting. At the bottom, same information as in the visual in the middle, but in a table matrix form. So this is where it gets interesting for KMWE. As I just mentioned shortly, we have the option to use MPS message information. What this means is that orders which are required sooner than are currently placed in the supply chain, they get a so-called RSIN message, which stands for reschedule in, meaning these orders are required sooner than they're actually planned at the moment. With the Market 4.0 status information, we can sort on orders that are in preparation at suppliers, in production, within quality check, in transit, or which are ship ready. Especially these last 2 statuses are valuable for KMWE because it allows us to expedite the delivery of purchase orders without overloading the supply chain unnecessarily. Typically, orders with these statuses are already completed by our suppliers. So for example of a reverse scenario where we would like the orders to be coming to KMWE later than are currently planned, we could check on orders with a so-called RSOU status, meaning reschedule out message, in which case we would use the in preparation status to ask our suppliers to delay or possibly even cancel delivery of shipments to KMWE. So in both cases, this has a major effect on our inbound process. So receipt of goods, warehouse room, and obviously as well in our cash flow, because it means that we have less cash sitting in our warehouse unnecessarily. In the future state, it would be ideal to have this information come directly back into our ERP system. To be able to do this, it would be good to have our ERP supplier on board within this project to see what possibilities there are of receiving the Market 4.0 milestones directly in our ERP system. This would allow us to, from here, directly maintain our purchase orders based on the Market 4.0 milestones.
Another partner, Batchforce, has used this setup to produce a manufacturing as a service offering. If you want to have CNC milled components, you can use Batchforce to connect to hundreds of potential suppliers. And Batchforce acts as a one-stop shop. And similarly, Batchforce is retrieving information from the supplier network to ensure that they deliver on time and with the right quality.
My name is Roy Mengelos, and in this quick video I will demonstrate the integration of the Batchforce platform within Market 4.0 and the progress and capabilities application. When the user enters the Market 4.0 portal, he can choose the Batchforce service to get his manufacturing process started. When they do so, they are invited in this dashboard environment where they can specify their manufacturing need. The first step is to upload a 3D model. Multiple files can be uploaded here at once, and it will generate a bill of materials in which they can specify their production order. Usually, a 2D work drawing is required to give more technical specifications. These are in PDF format, and they can be added to the bill of materials. Also, the material can be specified. For example, let's say I only want to look at all the metal materials and I choose this aluminium. I can add it to the bill of materials. Also, if needed, an option for finishing can be added to the list. Then the last step is to enter the amount that needs to be manufactured. And then the inquiry can be placed. A desired delivery time is chosen. For example, I want it to be delivered exactly on the 30th of July. I can check everything in this document, and when I'm pleased, I can submit the inquiry. We successfully submitted inquiry 952. Next, we will show you the progress and capabilities application. This is a separate application where a supplier who is not connected with ERP systems can give updates on order states to their customers. In this example, they are logged in and we see a dashboard which contains all of the orders they received. It has certain references. For example, it has a reference for the order ID, but also for the customer and the required delivery date. And all the way to the right, we see the currently reported states. All this information is formatted according to the SCSN standard, and this list can be expanded if needed. You can imagine this can be quite confusing if you work for multiple customers. So this list can be filtered using these buttons to the left. We can choose a specific order ID, or we can look for a specific customer. In this example, we want to look for all the orders from buyer number 9. It is also possible to filter on a specific order state. Let's look at the order we just received. We can also sort these columns accordingly. For example, I sorted them now on the order reference, And we see here the order number 952 that we just placed with the delivery date of 30th of July. Next, we can report a status on this order. The first state that we see is the initial state. It's just been placed. We can click on this button and we can choose a different state. The second state is the in preparation state. It's about the planning process. For example, a supplier has already ordered the needed raw material. The third state is in production. It means that the manufacturing process is up and running. And it's also possible that there is a quality check. It's not always the case. All of these states are optional, and we've chosen these states because they are most relevant to the high-tech cluster. The last state is in transit, and it means that the delivery has already been sent out to the customer. Let's say we want to mention that this state is in preparation. We see that the order is highlighted. This means that a change has been made. We can do this for multiple orders. Let's pick a few. And then we can click this button on the right to trigger the sharing of information with the customer via the IDS connectors. Lastly, the supplier can also log out, and when they do, the authorization to all these orders has been lifted. We create a separate login for the supplier so that they can identify themselves. It gives them authorization to only the orders that they receive for the customer. So if we log back in, we see all the orders we received again. I want to thank you for your attention.
We would like to show you some testimonials about what people think about this smart connected supplier network and how it works in their day-to-day business.
De grootste uitdagingen voor het SCSN is het organiseren en het met elkaar ontwikkelen van een standaard. Want als je in een keten, een netwerk van bedrijven met elkaar gaat samenwerken, moet er dus ook informatie uitgewisseld worden. Dus wordt de data gedeeld. Voor het delen van data is eigenlijk geen algemeen geaccepteerde standaard ontwikkeld. Wat wij met elkaar willen doen, is om een standaard te ontwikkelen waarmee de informatie over het delen van data verbeterd wordt. We hebben natuurlijk wel de ambitie om te gaan komen naar echt een volledige digitale fabriek. Dus dat is eigenlijk de eerste stap. Dat moet eigenlijk zodanig groeien dat ook de data rondom tekeningen, rondom technische specificaties, rondom TPD met elkaar wordt gedeeld. Zodat je eigenlijk door de hele keten heen die data met elkaar kunt delen om zodoende eigenlijk je time to market en je time to money te verbeteren.
Het belangrijkste voordeel van Smart Connected Supply Network is eigenlijk de eenvoud. Je kunt op een hele eenvoudige manier connecten. Je hoeft dat maar één keer te doen en vervolgens kun je met de hele keten communiceren. Een ander belangrijk voordeel is dat je zelf bepaalt met wie jij welke data wilt delen. Dus je bent zelf de eigenaar van de data.
Ja, als Kromvoortse zijn we al jaren bezig om slimmer met processen om te gaan. Om digitaal te communiceren met de klant. Dat doen we via een online portal al meer dan 10 jaar. En vanuit de DSX-problematiek, het standaardiseren van de getekende files, zijn we ook bij SCSN in aanraking gekomen en hebben gezien, hey, hier is een aansluiting om uiteindelijk te zorgen dat alles rondom digitale communicatie in de keten, van digitale tekening tot en met de bijbehorende data, dat soepel en snel moet kunnen gaan lopen. Dus vandaar dat wij graag op deze manier breed in de markt met een goed gedragen systeem mee willen werken.
Nou, de specifieke data die we dan delen, dat is bijvoorbeeld de orderinformatie van de klant en tegelijkertijd onze orderbevestiging naar de klant. Dus de klant die bestelt en wij geven daar een bevestiging op. Maar het kan ook zijn dat de klant een wijziging wil in de bestaande inkooporder. Die sturen ze ook, die kan dan bij ons elektronisch binnenkomen en vervolgens kunnen we die ook weer opnieuw bevestigen. Nou, een groot voordeel voor ons bedrijf is dat de snelheid en nauwkeurigheid enorm kan toenemen. In de praktijk zien we nu bij handmatig verwerken van orders dat er veel mensen betrokken zijn in het proces die veel zaken moeten opzoeken, maar ook gewoon data moeten ingeven in de systemen. En ja, daarin zien we eigenlijk gelijk tijdbesparing, maar ook het verminderen van fouten.
Een mooi voorbeeld is Berma-plaatwerk. Dat is echt ook een heel conventioneel bedrijf waar veel orders doorheen gaan door het bedrijf. En ja, door vooral vertrouwen te krijgen van kom op, we gaan beginnen, zijn we daar gestart en hebben ze nu een enorme winst behaald. En dan zowel in snelheid als foutkansvermindering.